Very well, it's another great new dawn that comes with great opportunities across the globe. Welcome to SMB. You're watching Smart 24 TV. My name is Rita Cabanyoro to take you through. Expect a lot from us today, and ranging from SMB reports, we're going to be bringing to you a business insight and of course greatest market updates and traffic that will be coming your way on this particular show. Not forgetting the topic analysis, where we bring to you a lot of experts and analysts, including economics to help us grow our businesses and also be motivated. Now, let us look at how SMB reports this morning have got for us. To begin with, the focus on agribusiness, energy and housing to speed up economic growth. The International Finance Corporation and the World Report of 2022 has indicated that Uganda should step up and also towards agribusiness, energy and housing to make sure that they grow its economy. Officials from the IFC have also launched in conjunction with the World Bank on the report that Uganda has an imminence of potential for progress to release the long-term developmental objectives. Let us have more on this report. We'll do return.
A report was published by International Finance Corporation and the World Bank. The report indicated that Uganda could grow its economy, create jobs and strengthen its trade in Africa by increasing agribusiness, housing and energy.
So the report looked at different sectors, and we focused primarily on three sectors which we believe can be growth drivers for the Ugandan economy and where the private sector can play an increasing role. So one of those was agriculture, which is the entire agri-value chain, because that is such an important sector in Uganda in terms of both contribution to GDP as well as job creation. The second area we looked at was energy, where again energy by itself is an input to many other sectors. And even if you want to do agro-processing, you want to run a flour mill or whatever, you need energy. You need access to energy, you need quality of energy supply, and you need energy at the right cost.
And as a result, in order to address some of these challenges, which is productivity and job challenges, we are requiring a focus on growth in sectors that can do that. Sectors that can leverage demand from abroad, sectors that are inherently competitive for growth in Uganda, sectors that can support productivity or improve productivity, and are labor intensive to absorb demand for jobs. And I think we can all agree that the private sector and its ability to create sustainable jobs and investment is core to addressing these issues.
The report found out that energy, housing and agribusiness, commonly fisheries, dairy and maize are among those that offer strong potential to address job creation and competitiveness challenges amidst high population growth and urbanization.
So I think the major reforms we really want to start with should be looking at ourselves and our standards. Secondly, I've had an interaction with actually the people in the dairy sector. We might be here saying the cost of credit is high. But from the academia, how best do you finance a business? It sales revenue. The main way of financing your business are your sales. Even when you take money, the lender is looking at your sales for purposes of their payment.
To secure quality of food in our domestic market for humans and animals, and two, to make our products exportable to the region in a quality better than what they have in their domestic markets, so that we can build our market. There's no reason why the dairy industry should not explode way past 150 million and carry on. We have a huge competitive advantage. If we didn't have non-tariff barriers to Rwanda, we would support that market. If we didn't have non-tariff barriers to Kenya, we would be supporting that market. Kenya is short by 1 million litres of milk a day, and every single one of those litres could come from Uganda. But to be able to do that, we have got to get our industry right, and we have got to support our farmers to understand what quality is.
However, to realize growth in these sectors, Uganda will need to continue advancing reforms and attracting the private investment. The International Finance Corporation's goal is to help strengthen Uganda's competitiveness, economy and job creation by supporting increased private sector investment in key growth areas.
In our environments, it is not possible for governments to create the number of jobs that are required by our population. The private sector has to step in. The government alone will be constrained in filling all the development gaps. To help achieve the country's development goals, the private sector has to play a larger role. So that's what we mean, and that's what the CPSD is driving towards, how to achieve that.
Through lead farm structures. So we are creating a new culture, a mindset that essentially seeks to empower, bolster, and really facilitate the young population to create meaningful jobs. And obviously the issue of standards is coming up. Good infrastructure, oil and gas is coming up. And I think that as far as we are concerned as private sector, a discussion of this type is very good. If we can have more regular engagements to ensure that we constantly drum up this discussion and entrench a viable, fantastic economy. DRC is around the corner, 105 million people, good money. So I think that if we start with the most basic critical issues on standards, on infrastructure, good policies, an enabling environment with all the facilitators in place, I think that we are going to change and turn around this fantastic opportunity.
Over the last 2 decades, Uganda has had a good track record implementing pro-private sector policies that have led to a significant inward investment, high levels of regional trade and vibrant informal economy. However, the country's growth rates have recently slowed down, and there are signs of government's pro-private sector agenda losing some ground. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV.
And that's the World Bank there together with the International Financing Corporation to make sure that the country goes on to promote agro-business. But what I pick there is that the government has not only got to drive that move, but rather also do hands-on into supporting farmers, because without farmers, how are we going to be achieving everything that we set towards agriculture? More so, or more especially on towards productivity and effective production, including on the quality and what quality do we need as a country to produce on the international market, that therefore will help the country and the citizens regain from the yields of agriculture, and there will be curbing on the production that has always given us setback towards trading. For example, the recent setback on our maize towards Kenya, but also highlighting more so on towards the private sector being an involvement in towards the move of promoting agribusiness, because as government you cannot do it all, or you cannot exhaust it. There is also a gap that the private sector needs to fulfill around there. But moving further, now let us look at how Uganda Muslim Supreme Council calls for reconciliation ahead of the Muslim constitutional amendment. Now, the Uganda Muslim Council called ahead for the reconciliation, that is for the constitutional amendment that has been eliminating conflicts that cause division in the community. This is coming at a time when the exercise review with which districts in Kampala are ongoing. Let us have a look at this and how business is going to be undertaken after this.
The chairperson of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Sheikh Kassim Kamugisha, called for reconciliation ahead of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council Constitution review, hence avoiding divisions in the region community, thus eliminating them for their development in Uganda and East Africa. While addressing the media, Sheikh Kassim Kamugisha said the amendment of the Muslim Constitution will provide for mechanisms that internal resolutions mechanisms that could help in mitigating and handling simple conflicts that will always raise intra-religiously, that is within the region or within the society itself.
One of the reasons for the amendment of this constitution is to provide for mechanisms, internal conflict resolution mechanisms, that could help in mitigating and handling simple conflicts that will always arise intra-religiously, that is within the region or within the society itself. Therefore, I hope by the close of this amendment, we shall have gotten to a point where we have a provision in the Constitution that provides for an internal conflict resolution mechanism that will indeed be a basis for reconciliations and unity of our Muslim community across the country, actually across East Africa, Africa, and the world.
The president, Uganda Muslim Lawyers Association, Ali Kankaka, said that the main focus in this amendment is to focus on constitutional gaps that is relevant and inevitable. That is what is informing the structure of the inquiry that will present to respondents. And it will be shared with media and the entire public. And when it comes to important issues that emerge in community, this is the time to contribute not only to the unity, but also to international peace and security.
And for us, we want to focus on constitutional gaps that are relevant and inevitable. And that is what is informing our structure of the inquiry in terms of the questionnaire that we present to the respondents. And that will also be shared with the media and the entire public. Then when it comes to other issues that emerge in the community, members are free to raise over and above the key issues we've identified, to raise any issue that they think is important and burning, because this is their constitution. This is their time to contribute not only to our unity, but to national peace and security. And the best way to do that is to have a well-organized, a well-governed Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, which presides over affairs of Muslims in Uganda.
The Secretary for Women and Youth, Sheikh Namakula Radia Kamis, disclosed that the Uganda Muslim Constitution Committee on 31st January 2022 and will end on the 8th of April 2022. Particularly, the expansion of their services to the public will kick off this week and end on the 23rd of March across all 9 regions in the country. As she explains that this will help them in seeking views from the people, starting with the one of 18 years and above.
The work of the Commission started on 31st January, and inshallah it will end on 8th April. Particularly, the dispensation of our services to the public will begin inshallah on 22nd of February, that is Tuesday next week, to 23rd of March, inshallah ta'ala. You are aware, as my colleague has said, that UMSC clustered the country into 9 regions, 78 Muslim districts, 500 Muslim counties, and 13,063 Juma mosques. Allow me to go through only the 9 regions by name. We have East Buganda Muslim region, West Buganda Muslim region, Busoga, Eastern, Northern, West Nile, Bunyolotoro, Ankole Kigezi, and Kampala Muslim regions. So our scope is going to be a border-to-border exercise. We are going to traverse the whole country seeking for the views of Muslims who are aged 18 and above as far as this constitution is concerned.
The State Minister for National Guidance, Godfrey Baluku Kabyanga, asked the public to support Muslims through the process and asked the Commission to always work with security, including area resident commissioners in all areas they go to.
Government is aware of this process, and therefore all stakeholders should accord them all the necessary assistance whenever they reach their jurisdiction. I appeal to the committee that whenever they are in an area, they should assure they inform the state operatives and government officials there, more especially the RDC, the DSO, the GSOs, the chairpersons of councils from LOC 5 to LOC 1, so that they are aware, they are in the area, and those meetings are taking place. But as government, we are aware of what they are going to do, and it's in line with what our own commission, headed by Professor Tarasis Kabwejere, had recommended.
The current Muslim constitution was promulgated in 1972 and amended once in 1986. The Constitution Review Commission was inaugurated 17th January at the council headquarters in Kampala and started its activities on 31st January and is expected to close by 8th April 2022. Samuel Chirimunda, Smart 24.
Thank you, Samuel, for compiling that report. But also, what exactly or how do businesses get affected by the religion conflicts away from just the Muslim community? We have seen ahead onto interruptions towards the budgeting of various institutions, including even our own, that is the financial budgets, that has got to be tempered when government comes in to say or to support those who have lost because of the religion conflicts. For example, a year back when we had a demolishing of Ndeba Church of Uganda, whereby now government had to come and resolve the issue. That means that they had to compensate somehow towards the person who was claiming the land, and also to make sure there was peace and continuity towards that particular area. But not only that, even people's in-reaches or hands-on get to be disrupted. You put up something with your own energies, money, and everything. At the end of the day, conflict starts to happen. That is not good towards the religion, and conflictions in that matter are helpful towards that. But as we also continue to drive around this business, let us now look at how the parish development model is going to be thriving in the country following its head by President Museveni this week. Let us look at what is bound to happen and what expectations are arising there.
The Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Her Excellency Major Jessica Alupo, officiated the launch of the parish development model, which will take place at Chibuku Primary School in Chibuku District in Bukedi Sub-Region on Saturday, the 26th of February 2022. Her Excellency Major Jessica Alupo, while releasing the statement at the office of the Prime Minister, said the parish development model will undergo into 7 pillars under the National Development Plan 3 programs, hence improving household income, as she explains.
Forthcoming official launch of the parish development model by His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, the President of the Republic of Uganda, which will take place on Saturday, the 26th of February 2022 at Kibuku Primary School in Kibuku District. As you may have already been told in many different forums, the parish development model is a priority program of government which seeks to increase household incomes and cause sustainable transformation at household level. It is particularly targeting those households which are living in subsistence production, which is referred to as okukolera ekida choka in Lugwere. This is implemented under 7 pillars, as you may already be conversant with.
Cabinet approved a sum of 17 million per parish as the startup following the financial year 2021-2022, which allocated 200 billion shillings. Parish chiefs were identified and trained at all parishes in Uganda, as in the next financial year 2022-2023, the supplementary budget will be at 100 million per parish. The Minister for Local Government, Raphael Majezi, revealed that over 10,591 parishes are set to receive 17 million targeting, and this will be splitted into 4 categories. 30% of the amount will go out to the women, also 30% for the men, 20% will go to the people with disability, and lastly 20% for the elderly.
This year we are going to provide 17 million, but starting July it will be 100 million per parish. And then this question of the youth fund, the women fund, we still catered for it. There is a quota for the women in the parish model. 30% of all the funds will go to the women. 30% of the funds, the revolving fund, will go to the youth. 10% will go to the persons with disability. And we've also agreed 10% will go to the elderly.
Chris Bariomusi, the ICT Minister and National Guidance, said the Ministry of ICT has come up with good technology called Digital Cash Board, has monitoring the resources capable in collecting data in Bukedi sub-region according to Pillar 6 of the Parish Development Model to ensure successfulness in names and money given to every person in every parish.
We are going to be a little bit strict in terms of monitoring the resources, and we are putting very robust monitoring and evaluation frameworks. For instance, in the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, which is coordinating the pillar on information, that's pillar number 6, the parish-based information management system, we are now collecting data, for instance, in the Bukedi area where we're going to launch, to get the statistics, the benchmark information where we are. We are now building a digital system, a digital dashboard, which is going to be located in the Office of the Prime Minister and the Office of the President, where we shall track all the activities going on. And at a glance, the Vice President can press a button and she will know how many youth groups have received money, how many youth groups are involved in the poultry or piggery or fish farming, how much money they have received, because they will be giving us reports from a parish, sub-county, district to the center, because we are going to facilitate them with the IT and the technological systems in order for them to be linked to the national database, and we shall be monitoring everything. So the systems are going to be very strong, including monitoring the resources which shall be invested in the communities. And we shall work with you as members of the media regularly so that we are also updated and you help us to relay this information to the public.
Story reported and compiled by Samuel Chirimunda for Smart 24.
Very well, and that is towards the launch of the parish development model. And speaking of that, a lot is expected, ranging in from farmers, ranging in from extension workers, that who claim that without them, because farmers may not even know the need that comes on towards the implementation of this. On the parish development model. This is a model that was developed actually and picked out 14 commodities that are given priority in this and will be helping a number of farmers after their growth to benefit them and also improve their standards of living around that there. But also when we look at what the communities have got to say, more so the government is expected a lot in conjunction with the private sector towards issuing that there. But moving further, we're going to look at how the business in Muyenga is, with the number of booming businesses in Muyenga district. That is Mayuge district, I beg your pardon. Sugarcane growing is one of the major business, and the residents in Busoga sub-region can be living on it or survive on it. But we do take an insight of the district, how it is thriving around there. Take a look.
In Mayuge district, we talked to some of the residents who say that sugarcane growing is their biggest source of income in the area, as most people either grow or work in the sugar factory, as Isabidi Mulondo narrated.
Sometimes we go to Kakira factory, we do some work, you can get 7,000 a day, we use it at home, the rest that remains I buy some items for myself.
Mulondo also says they do farming and also have village circles where they save and get loans to survive and get basic needs like food, healthcare and education.
We are in the village banks like circles, we put our savings there. I use that money for the school fees. Though this child was sent away from school, the month I'll receive my share is April.
One of the businessmen in the area says their biggest source of income is sugarcane growing and fishing, which comes with so many challenges.
What challenges us mostly is that sugarcane gets ready, but getting permits takes very long time. 5 years getting a permit is a hard struggle.
He called on the government to intervene in solving their challenges.
Government should give us money, put it at the sub-county so that it helps us in our business.
Asman Waiswa differs from others. He survives on digging pit latrines, but still with a lot.
For pit latrines, there is where you reach and the soil is good, and some places it's very bad. The job is risky, that sometimes the soil can bury you in the ground. Each foot we charge 10,000 shillings.
He equally asks the local leaders and government to help them with equipment to ease their work.
What we mainly need are tools. We need enough materials. This job is quite tricky. It requires enough materials.
And exactly there, we have seen how Mayuge district is reaping greatly, even away from the sugarcane. And also members, they're excited towards the seasons that comes with different yields. There, we take a break. SMB continues. We do return shortly.